5 people were shot at a playground in East Oak Lane last night, and 4 teens are among the injured. So Steve is live at police headquarters. Steve.
Yeah, more juveniles shot in a place that city officials want them to be, a Philadelphia rec center. And here is the scene. It's 11 o'clock last night at the Helen Sturgis Rec Center and Playground, where there's a lot of ball fields and a place that kids are supposed to go to be safe. But you got a 16-year-old girl, 16-year-old boy, 2 other 17-year-old boys, and then police see a 20-year-old show up at the hospital around the same time that they drove 3 of the teens, and a 4th got a ride to the hospital. Nobody has life-threatening injuries, and nobody seemed to be telling the police the same story about what happened. They found 2 groups of bullet shells, 1 on the street and 9 more shells in the playground grounds itself, along with the 9 shells on the street. So they think maybe 2 people were shooting at each other, or somebody was chasing somebody around the playground, firing a gun at them.
Based on what we know so far, it appears that some sort of shooting occurred here. It's unclear at this time whether or not the gunshot victims were participants in the shooting or were simply targeted by the shooters. We just don't know that yet. Of those 4 victims, all 4 were taken to Einstein Hospital. 3 of them by police, 1 by private vehicle. All of them are currently listed in stable condition, suffering from non-life-threatening gunshot wounds. 1 was shot in the arm, 1 in the leg, 1 I believe in the ankle, and 1 in the lower back side. So all non-life-threatening injuries. They all should recover from their injuries physically.
So as you hear Chief Inspector Pace say, we don't know whether the victims were also perpetrators possibly. That would give you an idea why police believe they might not be getting the true story from people who may have ditched guns before police arrived, or before 2 of them were driven in private cars to the nearby hospital. But here we go again, and this is why they outfitted a lot of rec centers, as the mayor led a contingent of officials with the big announcement they were going to put the latest high-tech cameras and surveillance at the rec centers, because there's been so many shootings at rec centers. And you remember last year we had the rec center employee shot and killed just doing her job at a rec center in the afternoon in West Philadelphia, and that's why they upped the reward offer for anybody caught shooting at a rec center. But it's still going on, as proven last night.
Again last night. We're at it again. All right, Steve.
A 19-year-old was shot and killed in Bustleton Sunday night in another shooting. This one happened just before 6:30 on the 6600 block of Bustleton Avenue. That one also not far from the Myers Rec Center this time. Police say the 19-year-old man was shot in the head. So far, no word on a motive. No arrests have been made. Bucks County, the search is on for a dirt bike rider who police say intentionally ran over a man twice. Ben Salem police say the rider on the right hit a 64-year-old man on purpose. This happened Saturday night on the 1600 block of Neshaminy Valley Drive. Police say the suspect then ran over the victim a second time, causing what they're calling substantial injuries. The victim is currently in serious but thankfully stable condition. Police say the suspect, you see him right there, wearing a white helmet on an illegal green and white dirt bike, was also with another rider, also pictured on a red dirt bike. If you recognize either person, please step up and call the police. Philadelphia police are searching for another hit-and-run driver in Hunting Park this time. The crash happened Saturday night around 10 on the 1400 block of West Roosevelt Boulevard near the Hunting Park Rec Center. Police say a dark-colored vehicle was approaching Broad Street when it struck a male who was laying in the street. Nobody is sure why he was laying in the street. Police then say the driver took off. The victim was in extremely critical condition.
So there was a police pursuit, and it winds up with the police vehicle. So there's the car they're after that was involved in a murder, they believe, and there's the police vehicle that was struck. It's a minor crash. It happened on the Parkway right at North 19th and the Benjamin Franklin Parkway. So again, they think that the people or the vehicle was connected to a homicide. It obviously ends up getting stopped up there on the curb. People jump out, they get them. There's 2 guys that ran away. They caught them. They're under arrest right now. Nobody injured. A teenage boy is fighting for his life after being shot in the face. Let's get right out to Steve Keeley.
Yeah, this happens 2 nights after we had those 5 teenagers shot at the Sturgis Rec Center Playground. And this scene, 55th and Haverford, and again, this is in prime time. Kids out on a nice summer night. And one group of kids ran into another group of kids, and then one of them obviously has a gun.
According to witnesses, the juvenile just prior to being shot was walking along the sidewalk with about 3 or 4 other teenagers or young adults when they encountered another group of teenagers and young adults. That's when there was some sort of argument or altercation that escalated into this shooting. He is suffering from a gunshot wound to his face. We did find the scene in the 5400 block of Haverford Avenue consisting of 4 spent shell casings. We found them on the sidewalk. So it appears someone fired at least 4 shots from a semi-automatic weapon. Police rushed him to CHOP because he appeared to be a juvenile, and that victim is in critical condition.
So good thing the shooter was not a good shot, or we could have 4 kids shot or 4 kids murdered. Karen, this makes 113 according to the city controller's shooting graphic. Kids shot this year under age 18. This one just 17.
Even one is too many. All right, Steve, thank you. Marshals arrested a second suspect in connection with the shooting death of a sanitation worker from November. You'll remember that case, high profile. So there's the second suspect being taken in, 30-year-old Rashim Trusty, arrested on the 6900 block of Frankford. So he and another guy, 39-year-old Nashir Scott, are accused of killing 35-year-old Akeem Johnson. The sanitation worker was shot to death on the job last November. In Montgomery County, a mother is facing charges for fatally stabbing a man who confronted her son in June. It's a very interesting case because it's the 70-year-old mother, Renee DePietro, is now facing this charge. She turned herself into the Lower Merion police for the death of a 31-year-old man, Michael Sides. So investigators say it all started with a bar fight. This is at this pub, John Henry's, right there in Ardmore over on Cricket, when that woman's son sucker punched the victim's friend. So it looks like he started the whole thing. And then the victim goes to confront the son and stops him, and he's by his parents' car. And that's when the mom gets out of her car, and she has that weapon, a 16-inch blade that's concealed in her cane that investigators say that she uses, which ends up killing that guy. Motorcycle gangs, a member of the Warlocks motorcycle gang, now convicted of murdering a man at a cemetery in 2017. DA Larry Krasner announced the conviction and life sentence for Michael DeMoro in the killing of 33-year-old David Rosillo Jr. So a jury convicted the suspect of shooting the victim and then tying a rope around his neck and then using a car to drag him into a crypt that they found in 2020. They found that guy's remains and the body of another guy, 36-year-old Keith Palumbo.
There was some testimony at the trial last week that these 2 cases have brought a lot of unwanted attention onto the Warlocks. Whether it's true or not, I don't know, but the word is that it's somewhat been disbanded at this point.
So he's talking about the motorcycle gang being disbanded. You know, they're trying to cut down on organized crime. So that suspect was arrested in 2021, had pled guilty to the second killing. There are 3 other conspirators who pleaded guilty for their roles in both cases.
New details tonight about a deadly hit and run involving this truck in Delaware and the victim just 3 years old. Delaware State Police say they were able to find the teenage driver, but only after asking the community for help. Our Jennifer Lee has the details from Kent County.
Just a heartbreaking loss. We're learning that 3-year-old boy and his family frequented this Valero gas station. In fact, store workers saw the boy running across South State Street Road here when he was hit by that pickup truck.
I just hope that, they can get through it somehow.
Dan Barajas is going on 8 years as a clerk at the Valero gas station shortstop and knows his regulars, including the family who just lost their 3-year-old great-grandson in Tuesday's deadly hit and run.
And the family pretty well shaken up, and it's stuff like that. You don't expect that, Nobody thinks about losing a loved one like that, so... it's very sad for their family.
Delaware State Police released these photos of the white Chevy Silverado involved. Investigators say the boy was running across South State Street toward Allen Freer Elementary School when the pickup truck struck the child.
We had two troopers perform CPR on the little one, and He was taken to a hospital, and sadly, he was pronounced dead.
Senior Corporal Leonard DeMalto says the driver never stopped and left the scene. But with the help of the community, troopers located the 18-year-old driver in Smyrna.
We had an outpouring of information, tips, messages from the community. Incredible response.
Charges have not been filed at this time, but the Delaware State Police Collision Reconstruction Unit is investigating.
Hey, keep it on your kids, you know. I mean, they're your loved ones, you know. You don't want nothing to happen to them.
Delaware State Police is waiting to release the boy's name until all family members and relatives have been notified. They're asking anyone who may have been a witness or has photos or video to come forward by reaching out to Delaware Crime Stoppers. In Camden, Delaware, Jennifer Lee, Fox 29 News.
A man accused in a series of sexual assaults in Philadelphia has been captured, or in this case, stopped. The 35-year-old man is accused of groping several women from behind while riding a bicycle. All of these incidents happening over 3 days this week. Our Kelly Rule has the details.
Police say these disturbing incidents happened in the morning, the afternoon, the evening, and in various city neighborhoods. And for that reason, they believe there could be more victims out there, and they're encouraging people to come forward.
It was a little bit nerve-wracking.
Angelina Punjator says she was keeping an eye out after hearing about a man on a bicycle approaching women near East Passyunk Avenue and Mifflin Street and in a number of city neighborhoods and groping them.
I mean, I live right around here, and as a young female, it's a little scary. It angers me, but it happens every day.
The incidents first made public and liked hundreds of times on the Watch Out Philly Instagram page. Today, police identified the man in that picture as 35-year-old Daquan Jacobs, and they say he's behind at least 8 sexual assaults between Sunday and Tuesday, ranging from as early as 5 a.m. to almost 6:30 at night. The first 2 reported incidents happened in the area of 1700 South Broad Street.
He was just approaching women from behind and grabbing their buttocks and then fleeing the area on a mountain-style bike. He went from South Philly to Center City, 21st and Pine, to back to South Philly. So he was pretty much just riding around on his bicycle.
And police say the latest incident was reported yesterday in South Philadelphia. An officer spotted him shortly after on the bike and were able to stop him. Police say they had similar incidents reported about a man on a scooter in recent months and are now investigating if Jacobs is connected.
We're going as far back at the beginning of the year to see if we had any similar incidents. And we're also encouraging any victims who may have been assaulted by him to come forward.
That he's in custody, how do you feel about that?
I'm glad maybe he can get some help.
Ty Martin says she heard about the incidents on social media.
Knowing he was able to just move so fast because he was on a bike, that's unsettling. But I just feel like it's important, especially in the city, to just be aware and be aware of your surroundings.
SVU's commanding officer says Jacobs was not known to them, but he does have previous arrests that include resisting arrest, retail theft, and harassment. If you have additional information about him, police want to hear from you. Reporting outside the Special Victims Unit, I'm Kelly Rule, Fox 29 News.
Police are looking for the man who broke into a Center City restaurant, Tacodelphia, and lit the place on fire. It happened around 4 a.m. back on July 25th on the 400 block of South Broad Street. Security footage shows the man lighting a fire, going outside, then returning with a trash can to add more fuel. He then waits and watches the firefighters before heading down into the subway.
Right now, police are looking for the suspect who shot and killed 2 men. Let's get out to Steve Keeley. Steve?
Yeah, it's sad. We got to interrupt all the good news and positive stuff from last night with this awful stuff. And here is the scene. It's the Jade Palace Corner Chinese takeout, and also serving American food there. And those takeout stores that stay open late are prepared for criminals. That's why they're outfitted with the latest surveillance and also have that thick protective barrier between customers, criminals potentially, and the workers. And so what happened is what they prepared for. Sadly, the customers can't be prepared for this because there's only one door in, one door out, and when a killer is blocking the doorway and firing at the 2 men inside, there was nowhere for them to run.
Now, we know both of these victims were inside of the takeout restaurant, takeout area when they were shot. The one victim who's critical was able to crawl out of the restaurant because the entire incident was captured on interior surveillance cameras at the restaurant. We know at least 14 shots were fired from a semi-automatic weapon. There's multiple shell casings on the sidewalk and on the step leading into the takeout area. And we found multiple shell casings inside the floor of the takeout area, where we found one of the two victims.
Well, the victims, not young people, but middle-aged, 40 and 44 years old. And the 40-year-old died first almost instantly after being brought to the hospital by Philly police. The 44-year-old is the one who crawled all the way across the street, carrying her, being shot multiple times, helped by fire department medics on the scene, and then rushed to a hospital where he was pronounced dead at 1:55 a.m. 2 more homicides as we approach 300 again in a summer.
Donating to a fundraiser to support your local police department might seem like a good idea, unless police say that fundraiser is not legit at all. Our Dawn Timoney explains.
Mary Lynn Jacobs has lived in the small, tight-knit town of Fallcroft for almost 20 years. She's a big fan of the local police and says she'd definitely donate if the police department sent out a mailing.
If it was Fallcroft, yes, I would. The fire company, yes, I would.
That is exactly what has the Fallcroft police chief concerned. He says some residents recently received a fundraising letter from an organization called Citizens Behind the Badge. The chief says it names Fallcroft PD as a beneficiary. He says not so, and he's put out a warning on Crime Watch.
It has nothing to do with us. I haven't spoken with anybody. Nobody from the borough has spoke to anybody. I just wanted to let residents know that it could be a scam.
The letter reads, "My declaration of support for the brave police of Fallcroft, Pennsylvania." It's an involved mailing, 12 pages, asking folks to donate anywhere from $13 to $100.
If we were doing it and we were involved, we will let you know what it was for. But this, I have no idea what it was for. I couldn't even tell you what it was for.
Citizens Behind the Badge has a McLean, Virginia address, and on its website says it's a nonprofit trying to put an end to the defund and defame the police movement and make sure law enforcement has the support and resources it needs to keep America safe. Mary Lynn did not receive the mailing, but says she wouldn't have fallen for it.
There's a lot of situations out there right now. You know, there's scams. And they want you to donate to this and donate to that, and you got to check into it first before you do it.
These two sisters say it's pretty distressing.
You can't trust anything these days, honestly. So it is very upsetting that they would do something like that. Hopefully no one's donated. You know, hopefully no one has sent any money in.
I reached out to Citizens Behind the Badge. A representative responded only saying the mailing clearly states it does not give cash grants to local police departments, and they are an advocacy group. According to Charity Navigator, the group is not registered as a 501c3 nonprofit. At least a half dozen police departments across the country have warned this is not a legitimate fundraiser on behalf of local police. Dawn Timoney, Fox 29 News.
4 victims of gun violence in Kensington within a 2-hour span last night. 2 men were shot dead at the corner of East Tioga and Water Streets. And just 2 hours later, a 4-year-old girl and her father were among the victims, shot in front of their home. They're both recovering tonight. And Kelly, you spoke with neighbors and community leaders about all of this violence.
Sheba, I did, and I can tell you this is really upsetting for people that live on that block in Kensington. One neighbor telling me it was recently that 4-year-old little girl's birthday. So we did speak with community leaders today. They say conflict resolution will be the focus of a festival happening this weekend that aims to prevent tragedies like this.
She's definitely in my prayers. Oh my God.
Wanda Maddox says she dropped off a belated birthday gift to her 4-year-old neighbor yesterday, a promise she kept, only to find out hours later the little girl was injured in a shooting.
I had just woke up and I heard the shot. Oh, she's so beautiful. She's adorable.
Philadelphia police say someone jumped out of a sedan on Amber Street and opened fire at the home on East Clementine Street around 9:30 last night, shooting the girl in the stomach while she was standing near the doorway, and her 24-year-old father, who does not live at the home. Jasmine's nieces and nephews play with the girl.
I am hurt by what happened. It was a tragic incident, and it was really sad. It should not have happened on our block.
The city's latest shooting involving an innocent child was also a topic of discussion in Nicetown this morning as they prepared for this weekend's 21st Give Back Festival. Zachariah Abdul Rahman lost both of his sons to gun violence, and the free community event is in their honor.
It's very challenging, but there is a hope and a bright light. We have to provide that hope by creating opportunity, and we create safe havens. We have to create recreational space, and we have to create activity.
The event will include violence interrupters with Pushing Progress Philly. They respond to communities directly to intervene with youth before things escalate.
You have to outwardly go into these environments with no security, no presence, just yourself and your belief system. But the objective to give these young people a voice, because a lot of them just want to be heard.
Senator Sharif Street feels the interrupters have directly contributed to a slight decrease in city gun violence, but there's still tremendous work ahead.
Ultimately, we can't get where we need to go without responsible gun laws, but things can get better, and that's, that's an important part of it.
Now, the two-day 21st Give Back Festival will kick off at 1 p.m. tomorrow at Nicetown Park and will include a peace parade. It should be a great event. If you have any information on that double shooting in Kensington, police want to hear from you. Sheba.
Speak up. Kelly, thank you.
2 people are dead, 2 others hurt after a quadruple shooting. Good evening, I'm Dawn Timoney. Dozens of shots were fired, leaving the court littered with shell casings. All the victims are adults, but children were playing feet away. Shawnette Wilson following the story for us tonight. Shawnette, what have you learned?
Well, Dawn, police tell me that several guns were used and more than 50 shots fired. And preliminary information indicates that police say they are looking for about 4 or 5 shooters.
Everything was taped off.
A North Philly rec center covered in shell casings and police evidence markers. Shots rang out here around 6 o'clock this evening at the 8th and Diamond Playground, leaving 4 victims. 2 have died.
I pray for the family, for their losses, and they got my condolence. And they also, hopefully they could catch the people that did it.
This man doesn't want to be identified, but was walking by not long after it happened.
They need to bring back the guardian angels. I don't know if you heard about them. Oh yeah, they was here in Philly. People would be safe.
Police say the victims include a 23-year-old man dead after he was shot in the head. A second male, age unknown, was also shot and killed. A 23-year-old man shot in the stomach is in critical condition, and a 22-year-old man shot in the head and leg is in extremely critical condition. Police say it happened on the basketball court when another group got out of a car and opened fire.
Multiple shooters came off of Darien Street, went into the playground, and fired eastbound at a group of males who were playing basketball.
People identified by witnesses as family members of some of the victims gathered at the scene looking for answers. Police say it appears the group or someone in it was targeted.
They were playing basketball, so they were all in close proximity. And they just started firing, and we're lucky we don't have more people shot.
Police say they will keep the rec center and playground open, and that rec centers in the city are a priority, but they will have police there.
We're going to keep the rec center open. We don't want to close it, and we're working on different angles, hopefully to put an end to any possible retaliation that could result from this, because that's always our biggest concern, if it is one group against another group.
And police do say that there were children playing outside the rec center property, but close by. Luckily, none of them were hit, but they did say that bullets hit homes that were just across the street, Dawn.
Pretty frightening. Thank you, Shawnette. Happening now in Montgomery County, a neighborhood a little on edge tonight after 3 burglaries in less than a month. Police say in one case, the burglars took the home's entire surveillance system. Our Ellen Kaloje reports.
It's definitely scary. When Laura Reimer first heard about 3 break-ins in less than a month in her normally quiet neighborhood, she was disturbed.
You figure this is a safe area, safe neighborhood. That's why we chose to raise the kids here.
Lower Moreland police are looking for those behind the burglaries. The first happened at the end of July near County Line Road and Warfield Drive. Police say someone broke into a house when the homeowners were on vacation and not only disabled the entire surveillance video system, but took the whole system out as well. Police also found this crowbar at the scene.
Things seem to be getting crazier and crazier. People are going to greater lengths to get what they want, to bypass whatever security people are putting in place.
Police say the thieves ransacked a bedroom and stole a safe, cash, handbags, and jewelry.
It's alarming. There's a lot of people in this area that have kids.
Another crime happened on August 5th on Pine Drive when the homeowners were also out of town. Police say this surveillance picture shows two men, both carrying flashlights, who kicked in a side door. An alarm went off, so the men got away with just one valuable item. Police say video shows they ran off and a canine track led them to Northeast Philly near Tomlinson Road. So on top of being on edge because of the break-ins in their neighborhood, some of the people we talked to say they plan on doing things a little differently in their own homes to avoid being the next victim of these kinds of crimes.
Lock the doors all the time and have my phone on hand. I mean, I already have, I have mace and I have things in the house for protection, but thinking about getting a big guard dog, I don't know.
Maybe they put their things on Facebook or things like that. I don't do that. You know, that's one thing. Keep your vacations to yourself.
I'll take, some extra measures knowing that these things are going on. Also to just keep an eye out.
So if you've been the victim of a similar break-in, even if nothing was taken, or if you have any information about these burglaries, please contact police immediately. In Huntington Valley, Ellen Kaloje, Fox 29 News.
First tonight, breaking news, a teenager shot just steps away from a rec center in North Philadelphia. And we've learned he is in critical condition tonight. I'm Sheba Russell.
I'm Jason Martinez. This happened around 90 minutes ago, right along the 1800 block of North 20th Street. And Kelly's at the scene. What do you know, Kelly?
Jason and Sheba, unfortunately, something we're talking about way too often. Another teenager shot in the city of Philadelphia. Again, we're talking about a 14-year-old boy at last check listed in critical condition by Philadelphia police. They say he was shot in the chest and back. Now, police say this all happened just before 8:15 tonight on the 1800 block of North 20th Street. Take a look at the scene here. We could see numerous shell casings in the parking lot of what appears to be part of the Jackie's Garden townhome community. Now, police say someone rushed the teen to Temple Hospital. It's unclear who that person was. We did see a lot of neighbors standing around. Police say they did not locate a weapon at the scene, but sadly, this teen is at least the 14th person shot in the city this weekend. On Friday night, also in North Philadelphia, 3 men were killed and 1 was critically injured when they were shot while playing basketball around 6 in the evening. So if you have any information on this 14-year-old shot tonight, the shooting investigation group is handling this, and police want to hear from you if you have any information.
At 5:30, it was another violent weekend in Philadelphia. 14 people were shot. 5 of them were killed in shootings across the city. There was also a 14-year-old who was shot. We never want to be desensitized to this, but Steve Keeley is live with the latest. You keep hearing about this. We don't want people to get numb, but the numbers are staggering.
Well, the same common denominators, too, because you got children, guns, and Philadelphia city playgrounds. And the first scene here where the 14-year-old was shot last night in prime time after 8 o'clock outside. And if it wasn't for some heroic guy who put this young man in his car and raced him into the Temple ER, he likely would have not survived. Those are the positives you don't often hear about. Didn't call 911 and just wait for help to arrive, because it might have not arrived in time. He may have bled to death. Here is the second scene. You've got young men all in their 20s trying to stay healthy and stay active and get on a basketball court where Philadelphia police just the day before held a local barbecue and party with a DJ. And these guys, 5 of them, come back around 24 hours later intent on killing, and they shoot and kill 4 men. 3 of them killed, 1 of them survived.
As tragic as this is, we were lucky we had a bunch of very young children playing on the sidewalk. Thank God none of those children were hit.
Just this week we had some police officers out here who were playing music, DJing, and barbecuing right here at this spot, right at the spot where we're actually standing at.
It seems like this park is kind of a beacon of hope here and a place where people go to be happy and just
It's the only place that these kids in this neighborhood have to go to. It's a playground. It's not actually a park. And most of the parks are far away. So it's the only place that they have to go and play in the neighborhood. And they enjoy themselves over here.
Let's just stop it. Like, it's too much going on in the world to be these young kids playing with guns and stuff, and just shooting.
Well, the mayor commenting on that shooting on Twitter, reminding people there's a $10,000 reward for information about a shooting on the playground, but that is trumped by the $20,000 reward he must have forgot for information on any murder. And now you've got 3 murders at that scene, and it doesn't seem like that $10,000 reward offer is not only bringing information, but doing a darn thing to deter shootings at city rec centers and playgrounds, because they keep happening almost weekly.
And it's hard. I mean, we all keep looking for solutions, but we have to continue looking because this has got to stop. Thank you, as always, Steve, for all